Good morning. Happy Monday. It's time for some book talks. I'm kind of having one of those mornings where you forget you were supposed to wear something from your alma mater, but then, hopefully Miss Quarter helped me out. So I get to participate in State College Day today. I have a couple of books to talk about. I really only finished one book last week, which I had been working on for what felt like five ever, okay? It is one that you may have heard of, Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, and it was a good book. I enjoyed it. It is marketed towards adults, which I don't always pick up those because I like things for young adults specifically, but this book follows the main character through her childhood and her teenage years and into her young adulthood and then beyond. We have it in our mystery section because there is a murder mystery involved, okay? But the way the book starts out, you meet Kaya, and she and her mother and her father and her many siblings all live in the swamp, okay, in North Carolina. The marsh, sometimes they call it the marsh. They refer to her a lot in the book as the marsh girl, because eventually it's just her, all by herself. One by one, her family members all leave, and she, as an elementary school student, if she had ever managed to go to school, raises herself, survives on her own in the marsh, digging mussels and selling them in exchange for gas for her boat and food and stuff like that. But she is a tenacious survivor, and she manages to make it in the marsh all by herself. She becomes an expert on all of the flora and fauna of the marsh, and that leads to some other things that make her life a little bit better later in the book. I don't want to tell you everything about it, but you go back and forth in the book between her coming up and what's happening in the present day, which is in the 60s, in this book. Where a man has been killed or fell, or we don't know, but he was found dead under a fire tower, and local law enforcement can't really figure out how exactly this happened. There are no fingerprints, no footsteps, no nothing, just dead guy, under a fire tower. But Kaya had some interactions with him, which you'll explore in the book, and so everybody thinks she did it. So not so good for her. But anyway, I feel like I'm explaining this badly, but if you like books about, scrappy young ladies forging forward on their own, if you like a little bit of tortured romance, love triangle sort of thing, if you like murder mysteries, if you like things set in the 60s or things with a lot of natural historical detail, then it's a book for you. Literally, you can't throw a stone without, coming near somebody who's read this book and who will tell you how much they loved it. And like I said, I did like it. It's been hard for me to sit down this last couple months and just give my full attention to a book. But it's good. Faster in some parts than others. Made me angry sometimes, made me cry a couple times, but it was good. Good book. What Goes Up by Katie Kennedy. I read another book by this author called Learning to Swear in America, and what I like about this author is she's funny. She's funny, and we've got it in adventure, but it really could probably also go in sci-fi, because in this particular book, a bunch of different teenagers have been invited to take some tests to see who is going to be part of a program that's going to go on a mission to basically save the earth. I don't want to tell you too much about it. They tell you don't look at the Goodreads summary, because it will tell you everything you need to know about this book, and then really all you're going to get from reading it is the funny bits and some action. But if you don't want everything spoiled for you, just pick it up. If you like things like not really like Hunger Games or whatever, there's a book similar to Hunger Games that a lot of people have read called The Testing, but it reminds me a little bit of that. except, well, there are people trying to kill people in the book. I won't spoil it for you, but like I said, a competition amongst really smart people, some of whom have been raised to do this, perform competitively, academically, scientifically. Another main character, he just kind of, he managed to get himself to this competition with zero support. And then there's some infighting, backstabbing, conspiracy stuff in there. And then some really weird stuff happens, as far as what exactly they're doing. Anyway, I don't want to spoil it for you. So if you like sci-fi, you like adventure, you like funny stuff, teenagers, check it out. Last one. I read the 5th book in this series called Come Tumbling Down. But I wanted to go back and revisit this first book in the series because I don't feel like this book gets checked out as much as it should. It's short. It moves quickly. It's a nice fantasy. Shauna McGuire is a wonderful author, and this series is specifically for young adults. And basically if you read Miss Peregrine's, some people have compared it to Miss Peregrine's just because it's like a school. But in this book, you don't get to this school unless you have gone through what they call a doorway and then come back again. So like Alice falling down the rabbit hole, or the children going through the wardrobe into Narnia. Everybody at this school has had an experience like that where they have gone through a doorway to another place. And it usually happens when they're kids. And in that place, they only go to the place that really fits them and where they are feeling accepted and belong and stuff. But then when they become teenagers, sometimes their world just spits them back out again. And they go back home to parents who are like, well, I don't know who you are now. What happened to you? This is confusing to me. And they end up sending them to this school where everybody else has had the same experience, and pretty much everybody's always keeping one eye open for their doorway to pop back open again so that they can go home, where they feel like they belong. But in this first book, like I said, one of the people, I don't want to spoil it for you, but some people start dying, just kind of, sometimes horrifically, sometimes just kind of, little pieces of them are missing. And like I said, I don't want to give you too many details, but somebody is doing something heinous, and everybody at the school is trying to figure out who it is so they can stop it. But it has something to do with the whole doorway concept. So, but after this first book, there are, like I said, four more of them, and in each book you get a window into the experience of one or two of the characters you met in the first book. So they're not direct sequels, but they all go together. Miss Arnold has also read this first book, so if you have Miss Arnold, you should ask her what she thinks about it, and then you should check it out. You can read it here in print, or you can, I know there's audiobook version and there's ebook version on Tennessee Reads. You can get that with your public library card. If you don't know how to do that, watch one of our previous videos. And that's all I got for you guys today. Hopefully you saw something interesting and you'll come check it out. So, see you later. Bye.